Let's go to the next one here. These are some interesting polling, Ryan, around the border crisis and probably one of the more vulnerable areas for Democrats right now. Let's put it up there on the screen. CBS poll asked directly, do you think the Biden administration should be tougher or easier on migrants who are trying to cross at the U.S.-Mexico border? 58%, actually +4 from April, say tougher. Easier, only 20%. You know, what's fascinating is that even amongst Democrats, you've got 41% saying tougher, 20% easier. GOP is 84-11. Indy is 54-25. And then you've got the racial breakdown, ironically, Hispanic as well, which is often held up as some monolith, community, is also at 41% tougher, just so everybody knows. I think it's an interesting breakdown, Ryan, in terms of broader and how much people are thinking about it. Put the next one up there on the screen, because people's feelings on this are more nuanced than you would think. So, for example, if you ask people, would you favor housing migrants or think there are facilities to do so? They're at 52-37. If you say housing migrants, willingness versus space concern, most people are very much in favor of housing them. However, in terms of some of the bigger breakdown, like, do you think that you should be tougher? Well, then, yeah, the vast majority actually say yes. For example, Ron DeSantis got a lot of heat for sending migrants to Martha's Vineyard. They say, do you approve of migrants to sending northern states? They say, yes, you think we should involve parts of the country. Those places have more space and resources. People don't like it whenever it sends a political statement, but on its face, they're very much okay kind of with spreading migrants to places which don't have to bear the brunt. For example, I know there was a big thing with Martha's Vineyard, and they were like, yeah, you're dealing in, with what we deal with literally in like 30 minutes in El Paso or in Eagle Pass or any of these other places. They say, in general, what you find is a more nuanced view of the migrant immigration situation than I think is genuinely presented by the media. So what do you make of it?
I mean, one of the big concerns that the left has been forecasting over the last decade is what they call eco-fascism. That there's going to be so much popular resentment toward migrants driven by climate collapse around the world, war and climate collapse, that you're going to have countries in the developed world, the haves are going to keep out the have-nots. And that you're not going to just see demagogues pushing for walls in the United States. You're going to see that all over the Western and developed world outside of the Western world. And so I think that this is a step in that direction. I think you're going to see this. I think this is going to be where popular opinion is. At the same time, we're facing labor shortages and we're facing birth rate issues that are going to make it so that ironically, the countries that are able to bring in the most young people who are able to work are going to be the ones that are going to grow in the 21st century.
So yeah, this is where I'm not so sure. This is a quasi-libertarian argument that I hear sometimes. And it's like, well, what's wrong with higher wages? I think higher wages are great. I mean, there's no labor shortage has frankly been one of the best things that's ever happened for the American working class. There's a lot of dispute on this, but there is some evidence is what I'm saying. And again, it is in dispute, I should be honest, that part of the Trump administration's at least reduction in overall migration had an impact on the overall wage had an impact on overall wage increase from 2017 till 2020. Obviously, 2020 things got a little bit wonky. Post that, I don't think you can say that the current wage conditions really had anything to do with immigration or not, just because of the madness of what happened with COVID and everything. But from before that period, yeah, I think there's good evidence. On the birth rate question, that one is where, and look, I think all of this presumes that this is almost puts like immigration on the same footing as legal versus illegal. And I think that is where some people like me have the most objection. It's like, look, I think it's not necessarily the best position, but I think it's a defensible one to say, oh, well, we need more immigrants in order to take jobs, et cetera. It's like, okay, well, then you need to come here in an orderly process. Like you can't be, for example, we had 30,000 slots for asylum that people are allowed to apply for. We had 1.5 million people apply for that. Like, that's insane, and then here's the other thing. It's not fair to them either. These are people don't even speak any English, paying some coyote to drag them across Mexico, many of them being raped and killed in the process. Then they get here. because they think they can just like waltz across and go to work. And it's like, oh, it turns out you're living in a shanty town in Mexico for the next 2 years. So I mean, that's not a good situation for them, for a child, for a single mom, or single adult male either. I mean, none of these things are good, I think, right now for anyone.
Right. We say you got to go through an orderly process, but our system is incapable
That's insane.
of or uninterested in producing an orderly process for them to go through.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.